A European country where every drop of water you drink comes from the ocean, where an entire village was built just to film a cartoon, and where dating doesn't even start until after 9 p.m. because that's when the real magic of the Mediterranean begins. Dating Malta women, a whole different experience. Dating in Malta operates on rules that would seem alien to most of the world, and it starts with timing that will shock you. First dates in Malta rarely happen before 9 p.m. Not 7 p.m., not 8 p.m., but 9 p.m. at the earliest. Because Maltese women believe the Mediterranean is at its absolute best at night. And that's when real stories should begin. The entire culture has embraced this nocturnal approach to romance. It's interesting that Maltese women don't need designer clothes or luxury accessories to make an impression. A simple summer dress and a confident smile are considered the perfect combination. Family plays a central role that goes far beyond what most cultures experience. Meeting the parents isn't just a formality, it's actually a subtle test. And here's something that surprises many foreign men: if you frequently disappear for days because you're busy with work or other commitments, Maltese women will interpret this as a sign that you're not serious about the relationship. Once a Maltese woman trusts you, she'll invite you to village festas where the entire community comes together to eat, dance, and celebrate. This isn't just a party invitation, it's her way of introducing you to her close-knit social circle and seeing how you fit into the broader community fabric. Comment number 1 if late-night Mediterranean dating is your vibe. Fresh water comes entirely from desalinating seawater. Did you know that every single drop of water that flows from a Maltese faucet started its life in the ocean? This isn't an exaggeration or a figure of speech. It's the daily reality of life in Malta. Unlike virtually every other country in the world that relies on rivers, lakes, underground reservoirs, or mountain springs, Malta draws over 60% of its potable water from desalination plants. The remaining 40% comes from collected rainwater and a few rapidly shrinking aquifers. Malta is one of the few countries on Earth where fresh water is literally a high-tech miracle rather than a natural resource. The process involves taking seawater and running it through reverse osmosis systems that strip out salt and impurities, creating clean, drinkable water molecule by molecule. This isn't a recent development either. Malta opened its first desalination plant way back in 1965, making it a pioneer in this technology. Today, the Water Services Corporation operates 3 major plants that work around the clock to meet the island's needs. The reason this system is absolutely necessary becomes clear when you look at the numbers. Malta receives less than 600 millimeters of rainfall per year. To put that in perspective, that's less than half of what cities like London or New York receive annually. Combine minimal rainfall with a dense population, growing tourism, and the complete absence of rivers or lakes, and you get one of the most water-stressed nations in Europe. Yet somehow it works perfectly. The taps don't run dry. The showers stay warm, and most visitors have absolutely no idea they're drinking Mediterranean seawater that's been completely reconstructed through advanced technology. An entire village was built for the Popeye musical. It may sound unbelievable, but a complete seaside town was created just to film a live-action cartoon. In 1980, Paramount Pictures transformed a quiet bay in northwestern Malta into Sweet Haven. The imaginary village featured in the Popeye musical starring Robin Williams. Here's what made it special: the production didn't just build a few backdrops or studio sets. They constructed an actual village with 19 wooden buildings, including a bakery, a school, a post office, and a dock. The timber used for these structures was imported all the way from the Netherlands and Canada. What's even more surprising is that the movie set was never dismantled. It still stands today as Popeye Village, one of Malta's most unusual tourist attractions. Visitors can explore the brightly painted houses, watch live performances, and enjoy boat rides around the bay. This place feels like stepping into a charming time capsule. Most countries take down film sets once production ends, but Malta decided to turn this one into a theme park instead. The most amazing part is that a musical which failed at the box office ended up leaving behind a lasting landmark. Now, it attracts visitors from all over the world. That's the kind of unexpected magic Malta is known for. Before we continue our journey, if you find this content interesting, Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss more strange stories from around the world. There are no forests, mountains, or rivers in Malta. Malta is a country with 0 flowing rivers, 0 mountains, and not even a single forest. This sounds absolutely impossible, but it's completely true. Most countries have at least one of these natural features. Malta has none. The entire landscape is flat, rocky, and bone dry for most of the year. The highest point in the entire country, Tai Demerik, stands at just 253 meters above sea level. That's barely a hill by most standards. Instead of towering trees and lush forests, Malta's terrain is covered in something called garrig low shrubs and hardy herbs that cling to the limestone. The valleys you see aren't carved by flowing rivers, but by ancient rainfalls that have long since dried up. So how does life flourish in such an environment? The Maltese have become absolute masters of adaptation. Agriculture happens in narrow terraced fields that maximize every inch of available soil. Water is preserved using ancient cisterns combined with cutting-edge modern technology. Cities were planned with survival in mind, built into cliffs or fortified with local sandstone. Despite having none of these natural resources that most countries depend on, Malta still ranks extremely high for quality of life, education, and tourism satisfaction. It turns out you don't need rivers to flow or mountains to climb when you have a population that knows how to bend nature to their will. The colorful and musical wedding traditions. Maltese weddings are unlike anything you've experienced elsewhere in Europe, and they start before the couple even reaches the church. The bride and groom don't simply drive to the church in a quiet car. Instead, they're accompanied by a group of local musicians and singers who walk alongside them through the streets, performing songs that celebrate love and offer blessings for their union. But the most memorable moment happens as the couple exits the church after saying their vows. According to a tradition that dates back centuries, wedding guests perform a symbolic ritual by throwing seeds, nuts, and wheat toward the newlyweds. This isn't just for show. Each item has specific meaning. The seeds represent fertility. The nuts symbolize abundance, and the wheat represents a fruitful harvest ahead. This creates an incredibly lively and heartwarming scene that sets Maltese weddings apart from the more restrained ceremonies common in modern Western culture. The entire celebration becomes a community blessing, with everyone actively participating and wishing the couple prosperity, happiness, and a flourishing marriage. What do you think about this lively wedding tradition? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The unique fat pole tradition in Malta. In Malta, there is a unique and entertaining tradition called Gostra, considered one of the most unusual in Europe. The event involves a long pole, more than 20 meters in length, positioned at an angle over the sea and coated with lard to make it slippery. Contestants must sprint along the pole, maintain their balance, and try to snatch a flag hanging at its end. Although the concept sounds easy, the reality is far more difficult. Most participants lose their footing after only a few steps, plunging straight into the water. The pole always tilts toward the sea, ensuring that every failed attempt ends with a splash. Gostra is not a modern invention or a casual game. It has been part of Maltese culture for centuries, originating from village festivals that honor patron saints. Each summer, particularly in August, coastal towns like Spinola and Marsaxlokk come alive as their harbors turn into vibrant festival grounds. Participants typically wear shorts and t-shirts, showing off their agility and quick movements. In some areas, organizers have even modified the game by replacing traditional lard with olive oil, giving each year's competition a new level of slipperiness and excitement. The largest vintage car island in the Mediterranean. One fact that many people don't know about Malta is that this small island has nearly as many cars as it has residents. With more than 300,000 registered vehicles and a population of about 450,000, that's around one car for every 1.5 people. It's an impressive number for an island covering just over 316 square kilometers. What makes this even more fascinating isn't only the amount of cars, but the way Maltese people have turned them into symbols of cultural pride. Across Malta, cars from the 1950s and 1960s still glide through the streets, keeping automotive history alive as part of local tradition. Every day, in the old streets of Valletta, Rabat, or Mosta, you can find garages housing classic models like the Ford Escort Mk1. Some collectors have offered as much as $60,000 for a vintage Jaguar. Yet many owners refuse to sell, choosing to preserve these treasures instead. At the center of this passion is the Old Motors Club Malta, which has more than 200 dedicated members. Each year, the island hosts the Malta Classic, a grand event that transforms the country into a living museum of classic cars. Type 2 if you're a vintage car lover who appreciates this timeless Maltese tradition. The fiery passion for fireworks. If you're planning a peaceful, quiet Mediterranean getaway in Malta, prepare yourself for a shock. The Maltese have an almost obsessive passion for fireworks that goes far beyond anything you've experienced elsewhere. For the Maltese, fireworks aren't just pretty lights in the sky. They're an art form, a deeply rooted tradition, and a heartfelt expression of devotion during village festivals called festa throughout the summer months, from June to September. Nearly every single week, a different village or town hosts its own festa to honor its patron saint. But here's what catches visitors completely off guard. The noise doesn't just come from fireworks exploding in the sky. Ground-level explosions continue throughout the day and night, creating a constant soundtrack of celebration that can be heard for miles. Local fireworks workshops compete fiercely to produce the most impressive and complex displays. They construct massive spinning Catherine wheels, and Malta once held the world record for the largest diameter Catherine wheel ever created. These aren't amateur backyard fireworks. These are professional-grade pyrotechnic displays that rival major city celebrations. The constant explosions, particularly on weekend nights during summer, can be a major culture shock for visitors expecting tranquil Mediterranean evenings. If you're staying near churches or in village centers during festa season, prepare for long nights filled with dazzling displays of sound and light. The harsh Mediterranean climate of Malta. Malta's climate can be brutally harsh, and it's nothing like the gentle, temperate weather many visitors imagine. Malta is famous for having more than 300 sunny days per year, which sounds wonderful for tourism brochures. But the reality of living with that much sun is far more challenging than most people realize. Summers in Malta are long and extremely hot, with temperatures frequently exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, often accompanied by crushing humidity levels. The sun's intensity becomes overwhelming, forcing many people to seek shelter during the middle of the day. This isn't pleasant beach weather, it's survival mode heat that poses real health risk without proper precautions. The humidity makes everything worse. Unlike dry desert heat that you can escape in shade, Malta's humid heat follows you everywhere. Air conditioning isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for basic comfort and health. But the heat is only part of the story. Malta is geographically a dry island nation with annual rainfall of only about 600 millimeters. To put that in perspective, that's less than many desert regions receive. Long dry seasons are the norm, not the exception. This creates a landscape that's far from the lush, green Mediterranean paradise many people envision. Instead, you'll find a limestone island that's often brown and parched, where every drop of water is precious and conservation isn't just environmentally conscious. It's absolutely essential for survival. Would you be able to handle this nation's extreme heat and humidity? Comment yes if you think you could, or no if you'd rather stay somewhere cooler. A paradise for pedestrians. Despite its harsh climate and lack of natural water sources, Malta offers something that will surprise hiking enthusiasts. It's an absolute paradise for pedestrians and walking adventurers. Across the three main islands of Malta, Gozo and Comino, there are numerous trails that wind along dramatic Mediterranean cliffs, through hidden valleys, and led to prehistoric caves that few tourists ever discover. You don't need to be a professional climber or have expensive equipment. A good pair of walking shoes will get you started on extraordinary adventures. On the main island of Malta, there's a spectacular walking path from Dingley Cliffs that offers breathtaking views of vertical limestone cliffs, where turquoise Mediterranean waters crash dramatically at the base. The contrast between the harsh limestone landscape and the brilliant blue sea creates photo opportunities that rival any famous coastline in the world. Moving to Gozo, the path through Via del Gazzari leads you to a narrow inlet that hides a secret swimming spot so quiet and secluded that you'll feel like you're the only person who has ever discovered it. The only sounds are waves gently lapping against ancient rock formations. Comino, famous for the Blue Lagoon, offers rugged trails that take you through landscapes dotted with wild cacti and seasonal wildflowers, leading to unnamed coves where only the most adventurous travelers have ever set foot. The best time for trekking in Malta isn't during the peak summer tourist season when the heat becomes unbearable. The optimal time is after the early autumn rains, when the typically brown landscape transforms completely. Wildflowers bloom across the meadows, turning every walking path into a colorful, natural canvas that rivals any botanical garden. A unique mode of transport in Valletta. In Malta, you can witness a sight that surprises many 18th century carousel, traditional horse-drawn carriages, moving alongside modern Tesla taxis and electric streetcars. The rhythmic sound of hoofbeats blends with car horns, creating a unique harmony where two eras meet. Carousel are not just tourist attractions. They remain a real part of everyday life for locals. Each carriage has its own license plate, pays taxes, and can even receive parking fines like any modern vehicle. The horses that pull these carriages are well cared for and even get time off. Every year, they are taken to the countryside for 1 or 2 months to rest. Their care includes special meals with oats and coat treatments. Much like a luxury spa for prized animals, many families who drive carousel have done so for 7 or 8 generations. They pass down their knowledge of choosing horses, mastering driving skills, and following an informal set of road rules known only among carousel drivers. Though often unnoticed by tourists, these carriages also hold deep cultural meaning. During religious festivals, they are used to carry statues of saints, turning them into symbols of tradition and faith. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this story is that the government once suggested replacing carousel to reduce pollution. However, local people firmly opposed the idea, choosing instead to preserve this timeless piece of Maltese heritage. Unique nightlife in the Zero, Autocoma capital. Valletta, the capital of Malta, holds the title of the smallest capital city in the European Union, covering less than 1 square kilometer. During the day, it impresses visitors with its ancient fortresses and stone-paved streets. When night falls, however, the focus of activity moves to St. Julian's and the energetic Paceville district. One of the most surprising traditions for newcomers is the sight of small cardboard drink tickets being given out on the streets. At first glance, they seem like ordinary advertisements, but once you see people eagerly collecting them, the truth becomes clear. These tickets offer free or heavily discounted drinks, serving as an open invitation to experience Malta's vibrant nightlife. Under the warm glow of the streetlights, international students often gather on Straight Street. Once known for its sailor bars, it has now become a favorite spot for live music lovers. The small cinemas in Valletta stay open late, sometimes hosting outdoor screenings of classic films, while couples enjoy peaceful walks by the harbor, surrounded by the scent of the sea. In Paceville, the energy is different, louder, busier, and full of movement. Bars overflow with people. Music echoes through narrow alleys and cultures from all over the world mix together. Erasmus students, international DJs, and spontaneous street performers fill the night with energy. Hidden bars carved into old limestone basements, food stalls serving snacks until 4 in the morning, and even small cinemas operating overnight add to the atmosphere. Few outside Malta realize that in Valletta and nearby Paceville, certain streets at night become true meeting points of the world. Tourists, locals, artists, and strangers from distant countries cross paths, creating a rare and unforgettable mix of cultures and stories. The famous silent city in Malta. In the center of Malta lies Medina, the island's former capital, a place that perfectly deserves its nickname, the Silent City. During the day, groups of visitors walk quietly through its limestone streets, where traffic is almost non-existent. Only residents and a few service vehicles are permitted to enter, keeping the calm atmosphere intact. The city's population is only about 300 people, most of whom live in family homes that have stood for centuries. Medina was once the heart of Malta's noble society, and even now, some families still reside in ancestral houses that date back to the 15th century. In the mornings, you can often see monks dressed in black robes making their way across the square. When evening arrives, the city remains peaceful, untouched by the noise of car horns or engines. This is daily life for the people who call Medina home. One of the city's most remarkable customs is the habit of switching off outdoor lights early in the evening. This simple act preserves the calm atmosphere and gives Medina the feeling of a city gently falling asleep. an experience unmatched anywhere else in Europe. If you've ever dreamed of a quiet place to retire, Medina might just be the perfect choice. The Festival of Eating in Malta. Maltese cuisine represents a fascinating blend of Mediterranean influences, but it's the cultural significance of food and the seasonal nature of eating that makes it truly special. Let's start with fennec, rabbit stew known locally as stuffet tal fennec. This dish was once exclusively reserved for nobility during the era of the Knights of St. John. Today, it's become the national dish that Maltese families prepare for special weekend gatherings, representing how democratic Malta's food culture has become. In complete contrast to this elaborate preparation, pastizzi represent the soul of Maltese street food. These flaky pastries filled with ricotta cheese or mashed peas are available everywhere and represent the perfect quick meal that connects all social classes. For everyday sustenance, hobsbizjait serves as the national sandwich. Made with traditional Maltese bread and topped with ripe tomatoes, olive oil, tuna, and olives. It's simple perfection that captures the essence of Mediterranean flavors. Seasonal eating plays a crucial role in Maltese culture. During autumn, the waters around Malta become busy with migrating Dorado fish, which are used to create the fragrant lampuki pie. This dish is only available from August to December, making it a special seasonal celebration that locals eagerly anticipate each year. Gjebegna, a traditional sheep cheese, carries historical significance that goes beyond nutrition. This cheese was once considered valuable enough to serve as part of marriage dowries in traditional Maltese weddings. Today, it's still served with black pepper or olive oil at celebrations, maintaining its cultural importance. Kinney deserves special mention as Malta's answer to international soft drinks. This bitter orange soda made with local herbs emerged in the 1950s as a direct competitor to Coca-Cola and remains a source of national pride. Its unique flavor profile represents Malta's determination to maintain cultural independence, even in something as simple as soft drinks. Malta, the unintentional stopover for refugees. Malta, a small island nation with a population of just over 500,000 people, has unintentionally become a crucial stop for thousands of refugees traveling across the Mediterranean from North Africa to Europe. Its location lies almost directly between Libya and Italy, which means that overcrowded fishing boats often end up stopping near the island, sometimes only a few nautical miles from its shores. At one point, Malta had the highest ratio of refugees to citizens in the entire European Union. One well-known incident took place in 2013 when a fishing boat carrying more than 200 refugees became stranded near the island, drawing the attention of European leaders and sparking debates across the continent. While political discussions continued between Malta and Italy about who should take responsibility for the arrivals, local people quietly stepped in to help. They offered dry clothes, warm meals, and medical assistance to those in need. Despite covering only 316 square kilometers, Malta operates a dedicated Coast Guard and rescue service that works around the clock. Local fishermen also play a key role in saving lives at sea, acting as everyday heroes in one of the Mediterranean's most challenging humanitarian crossroads. These facts reveal Malta as far more than just another Mediterranean destination. So, the next time someone asks you about unique travel destinations, remember that Malta offers experiences you literally cannot find anywhere else on Earth. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Have you ever experienced anything similar to Malta's unique traditions in your own travels? Let me know in the comments below which fact made you want to visit Malta immediately. And if you've been to Malta, share your own surprising discoveries that other travelers should know about. Don't forget to subscribe for more incredible facts about the world's most surprising destinations. And click the notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries about the places that will completely change how you see our world.